This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. After experiencing trauma, I went to therapy, and my therapist guided me through a difficult time in my life. They helped me understand what was happening and provided me with tools to cope and find my own strength and resilience. Their experience and compassion were invaluable and enabled me to rebuild my life and move forward. I strongly believe in the power of therapy to help people through difficult times. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. First, you go to their site. You can use my link, betterhelp.com/resilience. You answer a few questions, and BetterHelp will match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people with struggles just like yours. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/resilience or choose podcast, then notes on resilience during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month.
Most powerful thing you can say to someone is, I believe in you. And you say that without words a lot of times. And because that transfers powers, people don't understand or they don't know how valuable they are sometimes. And that is your main role as a leader, is to make him understand that.
Hello, and welcome to Notes on Resilience. I'm your host, Manya Chilinsky. My guest today, Dr. Daniel Tataje. He's the leader of the Mercy Dental Group, which is a winner of multiple Best Place to Work awards. He's the author of The Leader Humanity Needs. And we talked about compassion in leadership. How do you do that at scale? And what do you do when someone isn't having a good day? It was a fabulous conversation. I know you're going to enjoy it. Daniel, I'm so glad you're here today. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm just super excited to be here with you and your audience.
All right. The first question, what would the title of a book about you be if your worst enemy wrote it?
That is a very, very interesting question. And it's hard for me to answer because, of course, I don't know if I have enemies that I could call enemies. But I hope, like, if I when I think about that, I hope they still will be objective and respect me. I wish they would write a book, or I guess the title of the book could be the title of my book, The Leader Humanity Needs.
Oh,
I want everyone to understand that with their leadership, they can make a positive impact in the world. And everyone is called to be a leader, to move someone into like a better place. So I don't know. It's a very difficult question to answer, to be honest.
you're right. It is a difficult question. And the hard part is thinking about who is my enemy. That is, I think we all can certainly think of people who might not, we're maybe not their favorite person. It's harder to think that difficult a relationship. But I love it. I love that the title of their book would be the same as the title of your book, The Leader Humanity Needs. And that is such the perfect title. And as I was telling you when we were just before we started recording, the title itself just it's so meaningful to me. And I just thought, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And everyone has had a moment in their life that changes how they think about leading or taking care of other people. What was one of those moments for you?
I guess it was the moment when I reached what I thought it was my dream, right? To and growing up, I had a lot of financial struggles. Like we didn't have much, and I had to work my way out of it with schooling and scholarships and all kinds of things. And I always thought some point I will reach this level of comfort where I will just make enough where I can just have whatever I want and just be not be bothered, right? And achieve this. And I feel like at some point in my life I did achieve that moment. And I kind of like got disenchanted because I realized I was chasing a fake dream, right? Something that was not fulfilling necessarily. Material things were not. In my book, I talk about this moment, and I give an analogy with the dog races when dogs are chasing this fake rabbit and they just run with their whole heart to get it. And sometimes we're like that in life, and sometimes these dogs run so fast that they reach the rabbit and they realize it's a piece of metal, and those dogs can't run anymore. They lose motivation. And I found myself in a moment like that where I'm like, what's going on? This is not fulfilling. I realized I was more like selfish, and I wanted to just kind of like use all these accomplishments and all that for my own betterment. So that's where I decided, or I realized that I had to use all of my talents and all the things that I had, including the company and all that, for the betterment of the world. It was supposed to be a tool to improve the lives of others. So I started living my life for others, and that was I think a key moment for me where I realized that that is the way you find fulfillment, not trying to live the life for yourself.
Right. And we call that servant leadership.
That's right.
That's a term that is relatively new to me within the past few years. And I love what that says. But what does being a servant leader mean to you?
Servant leader means that you put your talents and your position and everything you do to the service of others, include not only other people, but to a service of a mission. And for me, I'm a dentist. I own relatively like large dental company. We have multiple clinics. We have 140 employees. So for me, the way I see myself in this organization, and I'm the servant of all. I am here to set the stage for everyone to succeed. I work for my people. They don't work for me. So that is just, it's a different way to see your role as a leader. You're here for to make sure that people grow, succeed, that you use your talents and your resources and all that to make a positive impact in the life of the people that the business touches, including, in this case for us, is patients, employees, vendors, everyone we meet, we have the opportunity to meet. So it's putting yourself to the service of others, and that is how you find true fulfillment. Honestly, I've tried it the other way, and
It
it
didn't
doesn't
work
really,
for you.
it didn't work.
Not every leader would describe themselves in the kind of terms that you just did. Can you give some examples of what does that mean in practice in terms of how you, the actions you take, the way you deal with employees? What are some of the hallmarks of being a servant leader for you?
Well, you have to start with the way your mentality has to change, right? So you have to see people as unique gifts, right? So to me, everyone, and this is another thing I present in the book. One of the mark of leadership, of the marks of leadership, 7 marks of leadership that I present in the book is respect. And when I talk about respect, I don't talk about the typical definition of respect. I give a little bit of a different approach, which is respect is understanding everyone's value, right? So everyone is unique, valuable, with a unique set of talents and unique set of experiences that make them who they are. So every person is a universe, I say in the book. And when you see your employees and the people that are like you're surrounded with so many talents and all that, you see them as gifts. It changes everything because now you are honored to be in their presence. You, even though you are the leader in this organization, the actual leader, but you see everyone as a unique gift in your life, and also you see yourself as a gift in the lives of others. So it's a mutual. It brings mutual respect, but that is the first step. It's just knowing that everyone is unique and talented, and everyone has unlimited potential. So my job as a servant leader of the organization is to put my talents to the service of others. And one of those talents, in this case, love, or I guess I have a special talent by like looking at people and knowing what their talents are and where to position them. So that is, I guess, the first step. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but
You did, absolutely. And it strikes me a couple of things. One is not everybody has that talent. And therefore, how do you have that mindset shift if you don't have that talent? And then the second piece it strikes is that's how do you do that at scale? You can do that with one person who's sitting across from you and then the next person who's sitting across from you. But how do you do it when you have, what is it, 11 locations and 140 employees?
it's actually 13, yeah, locations. But yes, the way it's just an excellent question because that's a question I asked myself at some point. How when the organization was growing fast paced, I couldn't influence the team the way I did when we had our one little clinic, right? So how do I, and obviously I can't be everywhere. So I created the identity of the company. So the company is like with you start with the mission. What is our mission? What are we what we want to accomplish as a company? And the mission of Mercy Dental Group in this case is to make a positive impact in the life of people using our talents. And one of those is dentistry. But we have other talents. We listen to people, we care about people, we truly want to build relationships and make a positive impact in the community and all that stuff. So it's not only dentistry that we provide, but we listen, we care, right? So that's number one. And the second one is what is your toolbox? How do you accomplish this mission? And that's through your core values. In this case, the core values of my company are the seven marks of leadership that I came up with. In my case, what I'm trying to do is to create leaders in every position. Everyone has the ability to just move the world to a better place or your change your environment, right? So be the positive light in your team and the lives of your patient and all that. So you try to encourage people to find those talents and to use those talents and put them to the service of the mission, not at my service as a leader, not because it's my company, it's a service of the mission because I work for that mission myself as well, right? So I put my talents in at the service of that mission, and that just becoming or embracing those values or those marks of leadership automatically inspires other people
Mhm.
to behave that way. So I guess to answer your question, how do you scale it is you worry about yourself first and you're trying to influence the people that are around you and those people will do the same. So in my book also I say, one of my favorite quotes is it's better to light a candle than to curse darkness.
Yes.
And the image is if there is darkness and you light up a candle, that might inspire other people to do that. And they light up a candle and everyone starts lighting a candle and that overcomes the darkness. So it's the same concept. You worry about your candle, light up your candle, become the leader you want other people to be and that works. It has worked in my organization, and yeah, so that is, I guess, and how do we practically implement all these things is by repeating this message as much as we can. We have events and meetings and things, and everything we do is it carries the same message, right? So we behave with our values and we strive for them.
That's so important. I think many of us know examples of organizations that either we've worked for or we interacted with who have a set of values that somehow end up just to be the thing on the website or the words on the wall in the lobby. And you don't feel those values throughout the people that you deal with in the organization. How did you manage to be able to marry those two things and have your business truly be reflecting those values?
The way you do it is because you have to understand that you have to be authentic when you try to do this thing. So the way it is, like a lot of businesses use business core values as a strategy, as a way to attract or retain or try to create culture that will retain employees. But there is some sort of return, some sort of strategy that you have. The way you have to see it is it's as a duty to me. The way I don't do this because this is going to bring me some sort of return, or I will have a better retention for employees or anything like that. I do it because it's my duty. My duty as a leader in this organization is to use the organization for the service of the people, the people that the business touches. So I firmly believe in that. So that's why we start with the leader, and you just have to be, it has to be authentic. It has to, and people can feel it. People will follow if you are passionately believing in all these things. So that's what like I firmly believe in that. I want the people to succeed in my organization, and I want them to use the organization for that. And yeah, so that's I will say the way you make it possible.
You're listening to Notes on Resilience. I'm Manya Chilinsky, speaker and advisor. My work examines how people and systems behave under pressure and what survival and disruption reveal about leadership, culture, and change. You can learn more about my work, including speaking and leadership support, at manyachilinsky.com/services. You can also subscribe to the newsletter at manyachilinsky.com/notes for monthly insights. Now, back to the show. It sounds like you're describing within your organization that there is a tremendous amount of trust between leadership and employees, but in employees as well. And there's people feel safe in your organization.
That's right. Yeah, and then it starts with the first mark of leadership, which is integrity, right? So you have to have integrity. You have to be honest. You have to, because this is not a perfect organization, and everyone knows it. And I repeat it all the time. But I challenge people and say, well, how can you make us get better or be better? Because we strive for perfection. We're never going to be better, perfect, right? So we're always going to have struggles and things. But when you challenge people at every position, you have 140 talented people that are working towards the same place. And not everyone has a great day every day. But if everyone is at least trying or striving for these values and for all these things, yeah, whenever like we can encourage each other whenever we don't feel like it, right? So that's why you don't I don't work with just people in leadership positions, actual leadership positions like managers or officers. I work with everyone. I want everyone to understand their potential, their value. Not a lot of people know how valuable they are, right? They haven't been told, or so that's another part of my role is to make people understand how unique and great and how much potential they have.
I think you can never say that too many times to someone.
That's right.
Yeah.
In my book, I say, well, the most powerful thing you can say to someone is, I believe in you. And you say that without words a lot of times.
Mhm.
And because that transfers powers, people don't understand or they don't know how valuable they are sometimes. And that is your main role as a leader, is to make them understand that.
Yeah. So we've talked about building this compassionate workplace where there's trust and it's safe and you're truly living your values. What are some challenges with that?
Yeah, there are many challenges because there are personalities and not everyone is necessarily or are born that way. So first, we have to, in the hiring process and all that, we look for people that believe in some of these values, and they like, at least some of them resonate with them. And so that's step one. Then there is the way we address situations. They are all based on the values, how we use the values to get out of problems. And right. So in this discussion, in this problem, where you humble enough to understand, or like there's humility, there's empathy, there's positivity, all these things that are part of our company values, which are the seven marks of leadership. So that is, I guess, the way you do deal with problems, and also understanding that you will deal with problems, and that's why you have the values when I talk about positivity, I say, well, positivity is not pretending that everything is good. Is understanding that even the most difficult things are making us greater. This conflict that we might be dealing with today is a conflict that will make us better next time. We're learning from this. We continue to advance. Today we have to be better than yesterday, and tomorrow we'll be better than today. So that is, I guess, the attitude, right? So we have unlimited potential because of that. That's part of positivity.
Well, you mentioned, not every day is good for everybody, right? People have bad days. That's the reality of just being human. And it sounds like you've built an environment where that is, you are able to deal with that. And I'm always thinking about somebody who has gone through something incredibly difficult, like a trauma, and comes to work and is really struggling. And it sounds like you've built in a kind of environment where somebody would be able to get the support that they need, just because of the way you've built the organization.
Yes. Now we have to understand the responsibility that we have and the ability that so we don't give up on people that easily. We are here to support people and we want to make sure that everyone is successful. Now, are we able to make people happy or to solve some traumas? No, of course they need professional help and all that. But we're here to do what we can to make sure that they understand their value and all that. I have many stories. I mean, we don't have enough time, but a lot of people that were going through a very difficult moment in their lives, and by doing this, like I believe in you mindset, they really change your life. I received an email just a week ago from a doctor that was going through when I first hired him. He was going through a very difficult moment in his life, and he was struggling, and he felt like he couldn't practice dentistry, and it wasn't the most convenient thing for me to have him in the team because he wasn't as productive or as good. He was distracted. He was taking a lot of time off, and but I didn't give up on him, and I tell him, well, you know what, we can work slowly. We can slowly work back here, and I provided an opportunity that will allow him to just kind of like get back into dentistry, and he ended up moving to another state later, like recently, a couple of years later. But he sent me this email telling him how much he was thanking me for that I didn't give up on him because he gave up on himself, and now he's going somewhere else, and that's another thing, like I'm happy for him. Like I invested all this time and all this, and he ended up like for life decisions and all that, he's getting married somewhere else. He's moving out of state, and I'm happy for him, and I'm happy that the organization and me in this position, we were able to help him. Now we have a better dentist in a better mental place and all that somewhere else in the world. But I'm just so happy that the organization was able, or we used this tool to improve his situation.
Right. And I love that you said, it wasn't the most convenient thing because he was dealing with something that probably made it difficult for him to work and that made it difficult for the organization, but that you stuck with him. And that right there to me is the where the rubber meets the road of the values.
That's right. And I think it is noticeable, right? So I didn't do it because I wanted, again, it wasn't convenient. I didn't do it because there was some sort of strategy to prove the organization. I is something is a tool. It's because I really believe it. I really believe that we have to use this organization to improve the lives of people, starting with our employees.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Daniel, we are very close to the end of our time. So thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. And before we go, can you please tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and how they can reach you?
Yeah, sure. My name is Dr. Daniel Tataje, and I'm the founder, owner, and CEO of Mercy Dental Group. I'm also an author, and I wrote one book. I'm writing a second book. My first book is about leadership, and it's called "The Leader Humanity Needs." And the leader humanity needs is actually the reader, right? So I want to encourage people understand their power, their position of influence that they can have, and their unique position they have, right? So, and how tell them how to develop these leadership traits to become that leader humanity needs, the leader that the world needs your leadership. And yeah, so people can also learn more about me. And my website is www.danieltataje.com. Is DANIELTATAJE.com.
Wonderful. Daniel, thank you so much. I'll put links in the show notes to make it easier for folks to reach you. And just again, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for joining this episode. We will catch you the next time. Thank you for listening to Notes on Resilience. I'm Manya Chilinsky, a speaker and advisor. My work focuses on how leaders support people through pressure and disruption. The show is edited by Neil Panji, and it's hosted on Buzzsprout. Subscribe to the podcast to stay connected and sign up for the newsletter at manyachilinsky.com/notes for monthly insights and updates.